Hello, my name is Mary Van Valkenburg, and I've been accused of being a Christian storyteller. As long as I have grandkids and great-grandkids, I'm never going to run out of material. Like the time when my husband passed away, it's been over 5 years ago, and my little great-grandson, Brandon, who was 4 years old, came to the funeral home, and I was sitting in a chair by the casket. He stood on his tiptoes, and he said, "Can I look?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And he came over a little closer, stood on his toes again, and still couldn't get an eyeful. And so he says, "Can I sit in your lap?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." So I sat him in my lap. He looked at Poppy. He looks around the room, and he's like, "What are all the people doing here for?" And I'm like, "They came to see Poppy, all dressed up to go see Jesus." And he looks at the ceiling, and he says, "How are you going to get there?" And I'm like, "Well, tomorrow, when everybody's quiet, we're going to go to this church and we're going to sing some songs and we're going to pray, and then we're going to go to a cemetery. Lots of flowers and pretty stones, and when it's real quiet and everybody's gone, Angel's going to come get Poppy, take him up to heaven." Brandon looked at the ceiling and he's like, "In the box?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's what the handles are for." And he says, "Is he going to see my puppy up there?" And I'm like, "Well, probably. He'll probably have to feed him. You know how forgetful the angels can be." So Brandon, in all his wisdom's like, "We're going to need some dog food." So we went back to my house. We got a little package of dog food in a Ziploc baggie. And we got Poppy's favorite coffee cup and his ink pen and his crossword puzzle. And Brandon came to the kitchen. He's got a block in one hand and a car in the other. And he said, "Poppy needs toys to play with on his way to heaven." So we went back to the funeral home. We put everything in there for Poppy. And we went to the funeral. Everything was over. A couple weeks later, Brandon was over at my house, and I could tell he was searching through his toys. And I was like, "What are you looking for?" He says, "I can't find my car." And I said, "Don't you remember you gave it to Poppy to take to heaven?" He's like, "Man, I wish I would have gave him a different car." Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.